Okay. I mistimed how long it was gonna take my tea to be ready. Ha 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 ha. Hello. Welcome. Hello. Happy Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Tuesday? Pretty sure it's Tuesday. Welcome. I'm back earlier than I thought I was gonna be, but that's because I was sent something very amusing on Discord. Now, I made it 40 seconds before I stopped because it was really stupid, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just cover this on stream. So I'm like, all right. You guys remember last week when we looked at a Twitter blow up by a Trump supporter who was having an absolute meltdown because a Canadian said they didn't want to be annexed by that Canadian being me, but like, yeah, a Canadian said that they didn't want to be annexed by the United States and said fuck off to them, and they pissed their pants and then screamed about, started screaming and tagging Elon Musk and Donald Trump after being like, all right, bring it on. And, you know, the threats of like reporting me to national security and whatever the fuck. Yeah, Homeland Security coming soon. Yeah, okay. You let me know how that goes. However, they also decided to respond in video format. And like, okay, I have spent a good amount of time talking to Americans, dealing with Americans, being on the internet and all that fun stuff, right? Like I've been around for a hot minute, right? And for the longest time I refused to believe that like this. Okay, there we go. I knocked my audio. I knocked my audio. Mm, I knocked my microphone. All right. Alas, I refuse to believe that for the longest time I refused to really believe that like that this was the average American, that like the average American was generally like a nice person, maybe a little bit rough around the edges, generally well meaning, and not like this hateful bigotry with this authoritarian imperialist ideology. Like, I knew that America had a little bit of that imperialist leaning in like this idea of how superior their country was, but I just sort of took that as like, yeah, you're proud of your country, and yeah, your education system is like, but like you're not that bad, and and I'm at the point where I think I might just have to accept that Marcy here is your and Marcy's ilk are the average Americans. um, so let's Chish is gonna be deported. Oh no. so I so she made these videos. Let's see, is this one? Yeah, she made two videos. So let me just no. Why is that? Hold up. Hold up. First off, let's get the audio. This is like for my hater tater, it's going to be okay. Is the title. So let's switch and let's put this up here. Why is it not showing? Why are you not showing? Okay, hold on. I don't know why it's not just playing over top, but that's okay. I can work with that, I guess, if it wants to be a fucking pain in my ass. Oh, weird. What? it's just not showing. I mean, I know you guys can see it right now, but like it won't show up over top. And I don't know why. That's weird. That's wacky. Okay, well, that's fine. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as the kids say these days. Let me just go ahead and find the link. It should be in my YouTube history. Yeah, here we go. Here it is. So let's just pause that, put that over there, grab this, move this around. Listen, it's good to be able to, like, shit's gotta keep me on my toes, I guess, because I did something to deserve having every problem ever for always. And that's, you know what? It's fine. Hello? There we go. Okay. I think my computer might be having a hot second. We run the risks. There we go. Alright, let's just throw this back up here for you guys. And nope. Layer. There we go. Ta-da! Alright, here's the video. As you can see, I got to 40 seconds. So let's put this back. Oh, it's because I downloaded the audio only. That's a shame. That's a shame. I see what happened. Alright. Average American stupid. Yeah, I mean, fair. Okay. So, this is Marcy with an IE, not a Y. This is my reaction and my regaling of our tit for tat on Twitter. You won't be acknowledged again, except in part 2 and 3. Oh, there's a part 3. Alright. Are you ready, kids? Oh, by the way, the goal is there, so if we want to unleash the spice, again, if it gets above 20, we do a full shot. If it doesn't get above 20, we just do a dip. We do a dipstick. I mean, doing a dipstick doing this. Alright, are you ready? Let's roll it! Oh. Hello? What the fuck? Can you guys even hear that? I'm not kidding. Can you guys even hear this?
And you would deny that he is Hitler. Who would admit that the person that they're following is a devil?
What? Who would admit that they were Hitler, and who would admit that their person that they're following is the devil? I mean, I guess. I mean, admission means that you know that you're lying, though, right? So you would know that you're following the devil. You would know that you're following Hitler, but you would not know. You wouldn't admit it. You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't tell the truth about it. I don't know who's talking, by the way.
Anything you say falls right into the realm because obviously you would deny that you're supporting Hitler. And you would deny that he is Hitler. Who would admit that the person that they're following is a devil? Their indoctrination. Don't think of it as they're smart. It's how much they bought the whole line. You don't get a master's degree in whatever unless you're a Marxist. No.
You don't get a master's degree unless you're a Marxist. First off, who the fuck is talking? Like, is Marcy the one talking, or is that somebody else? Does this person know that they're being recorded? And does this person also know that what they're saying is being posted online? Is this a two-party consent state? What? Do we know what Marxism is? You have to you can't get a master's degree unless you're a Marxist. All right, well, again, as this is supposed to be in relation to me, I don't have a master's degree. Behold the feet! And the Velcro! I... What? I am not... First off, define Marxism, and I think we're gonna have to... Is that an ankle monitor, or is she just really bad at doing up Velcro? I don't know, maybe it's both. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to go in there as a venture capitalist and do well in some of these schools.
You don't... So a venture capitalist cannot have an education? What? You know there's business school, right? You know you can have degrees in, like, a business associate's degree. You have to be Marxist to do math? You have to be Marxist to do physics? You have to be Marxist to do anything? Nice bottles. Is your tap water not good? I mean, this is some place in America. There's a lot of places in America where the tap water cannot be trusted. So, something, 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 America being a third world country. Something, something, something. I don't know what you're trying to say.
A lot of times, I think our people consider that easier
Okay. Well, I'm convinced.
It's always, you know, when they start throwing barbs, it's always good to help you up, but what about this or that? So, what I always like to do is just like, oh, where are you from? How many, what's your immigration issue? You're not having an immigration problem in New Zealand. Yeah, I wonder why, because nobody wants to get the fuck into your shithole. Why not?
Oh! I understand. This isn't a response to me. This is a response to Manya. They don't like that Manya has an education. They don't like that Manya is brown. They don't like that Manya is an immigrant. And they don't like that other countries don't have an immigration issue because other countries don't view or aren't racist and don't view immigrants as a problem by their existence. Oh, I understand. I see what we're talking about. This is in response to Manya. Well, I am not Manya. Alas. And so I cannot speak for Manya, but I get the feeling she is going to laugh in your face. Sounds like someone is trying to tell Marcy with an IE, not a Y, what to say. What to say, what to think. That's what it sounds like. And I don't know if this person even knows that they're being recorded. But, oops. New Zealand is a shithole, eh? Shall we take a moment? By the way, here's the Britannica. If you care to actually learn about Marxism, and what a Marxist is and what that ideology is about, there you go. Feel free to enjoy that. But let me just pull up the where New Zealand falls in like country satisfaction, right? New Zealand country ratings. I should say world ratings, I guess. World ratings. Here we go. Best countries. Let's take a look. Get out of here. British and Polynesian influences. Of course, through the picturesque New Zealand, an island nation in the Pacific Ocean, southeast of Australia. Treaties in 1840. European settlers flooded in. Oh yeah, nobody wants to go into the shithole country? 70% of Kiwis, a common term for the people of New Zealand, after a native flightless bird, are of European descent. A sense of pride has surged among the Maori, the country's first settlers, who now account for about 14%. Overall rankings, number 9. 8 out of 87 in 2003. Their overall score is 86.0. Adventure, 79. Agility, 79. Heritage entrepreneurship, 52. Open for business, 82.1. Quality of life, 81.5. Are you sure? Are you sure that New Zealand is a shithole that nobody wants to go to? Are you sure about that? Shall I pull up shall we look to see if America is even on the list? Countries index. Ta-da! This is US news, by the way. This isn't like, this is like an American outlet. To be clear. New Zealand is awesome and Marcy is a dumbass. Confirmed. So let's see. Where is the United States? Number 3 in overall ranking. Ooh, power 100. Ooh. 5 out of 87 in 2003 with a 94.2 rating. Ooh, fancy. Where's the, what's the, guys, do you know the name of the, world statistics? Guys, it's okay. US News rated themselves. Japan is number 2 and Canada is number 4. New Zealand's number 9. So it's still in the top 10 by your own ranking system. But let's find a less biased one, right? Let's not ask America how America rates itself because, well, you know, that would just be silly. What's the world rating system? World country ratings, or country ratings worldwide. Not credit ratings, not the Wikipedia. The standards of living by country. Standards of living by country, let's see. Yeah, okay, there's Australia. There's Indonesia. New Zealand. Go figure. New Zealand is in the top part. Go fucking figure. Quality of life. 5 countries with the highest quality of life are Luxembourg, Netherlands, Denmark, Oman, and Switzerland. United States is way down here. Below Australia. Go figure. Oh, look, there's New Zealand right below the United States. And this is before Trump took office, by the way. Prepare to see America just drop like a complete fucking rock. God damn. There's Japan, Estonia, United Kingdom. Canada's down here. Lowest is like down in Nigeria, Iran, Lebanon, Vietnam. This still isn't the one I'm looking for, though. I'm looking for the one that does the measurements that includes like health, freedom of speech, the healthcare, that one. Do you know the one I'm talking about? Is it the happiness index? Happiness index by country. Oh no, this is the same one. Oh, that was standard of living. This is happiness. So the happiness index is like same thing. Oh, New Zealand. So this is by the same group, right? This was standard of living. The happiest countries are Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, Israel. Netherlands, Norway, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, Costa Rica, Kuwait, Austria, Canada, Belgium, Ireland, Czech Republic, Lithuania, United Kingdom, Slovenia, United Arab Emirates, then the United States. Down all the way at 23, just above Germany and Mexico. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. there was one that I was looking for that they put out like statistics, country statistics every year. No, that's the World Bank open data. I mean, that's interesting, but not what I'm looking for. The population clock, also not quite what I'm looking for. I wish I could remember what it was called. I know I've looked at it before. I know we've talked about it before. There's specifically there's a handful of data points, and they check the data points of all these countries. I don't think it's the World Health Organization, but it is like a one of those world statistics. Let's see if it's this one. Data by country. I mean, that's interesting. Data by country, you could check Belarus, you could check... There's China and Congo. So let's go to the bottom here, where we should see... Oh, maybe it's an N. New Zealand? Poland, Peru, Norway... New Zealand, and let's grab the United States. Should we grab Canada just for funsies? Just as like a comparison point? Let's grab Canada, sure. Alright, so let's say New Zealand. Above ground biomass, age dependency ratios, agricultural land, alcohol and drug disorders, CO2 emissions, GDP growth for the World Bank, annual charge for forestry, annual change in oil consumption, annual growth of general government final consumption expenditure. Like, if you want the data, you've got the fucking data. Consumer price index, corn yield gap, crude death rate, daily per capita fat supply, death rate from cardiovascular diseases. This is like, and it got the date from like the last time it was like uploaded. Canada, America, age dependency ratios. Let's see, can we get like a... This is also still not what I'm looking for. Do you guys remember what it was? Youth mortality rate? I'm kind of scared of this. Oh, wow. Oh, boy. That's depressing. How's Canada? Yikes! Where's New Zealand? New Zealand will be an N, right? I hope New Zealand's doing better. Good God. Oh my God. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. New Zealand. New Zealand and Canada are like side by side. And America's had the biggest drop. Oh, sorry, no, wait, I'm reading this backwards. America is higher than everybody else. That's more. So they had a huge drop and then just stopped. Whereas Canada's actually had the biggest drop. And then New Zealand has followed along with the American trend but gotten it lower. Okay, so this data is under 15 mortality rates. So children who have died at that what percentage before the age of 15. Canada started up near 6% in 1950, and their child mortality rate has dropped to 0.58%. And it started to taper off a little bit, but it's still on a downward trend. New Zealand started at 4.2% in the 50s and has dropped to be about the same at 0.56 for Canada. America started at a lower rate that Canada did and a higher rate than New Zealand did, and is now has more people at the age under the age of 15 dying than Canada or New Zealand at 0.77%. Now, this is also like, you can see about this data, right? Deaths per 100 lives births is the rate. So they're only counting live births. So the mortality rate of like an infant or like a miscarriage is not included in the data points. Damn. Yeah, estimated share of newborns who die before reaching the age of 15. You want to try something else? You want to look at another one? Let's look at what do we want to what do you got, America? We want something women's universal right to vote. Women's political empowerment index. Hey, look at that big fucking drop. Look at this. Whoop. 1920s? Yeah, gee, I wonder what happened here. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then like a big jump between the here to here. And then it just kind of tapered off and then sort of did a little bit of an upward trend. And then down, and then down, and then down. All right, let's grab Canada. Hey! Ours is on the uptick. Where's New Zealand? Let's see. Where's New Zealand at? There you go. Whoa, let's go New Zealand. Not only started off higher, but only had a couple little dips where they only competed with Canada. And America's never touched New Zealand. Not even close. Women's political empowerment. Yahoo! Civil liberties. Go figure. So right now, New Zealand is scoring at a 0.94, Canada is scoring at a 0.88, and the United States it has at a 0.87. It is nice that we're seeing Canada be on an uptick here. That looks like that's a really icky drop that I don't like, but it's nice to see that it's trending back upwards again, and hopefully it stays that way. So this was you can see here is the 2000s. And now, and again, these are in 2024. None of this includes what's going on with the current Trump administration. All of these numbers that you're seeing here and these political data points are all going to drop like a fucking rock over the next 4 years for America. Do Denmark? Yeah, I'll grab Denmark. Let's take a look. Denmark. Boop. There's Denmark. They've got a way longer trend. Like, they've got data from way beforehand. The data starts in the 1900s for Canada and New Zealand and United States, but Denmark is starting in 1789. Look at this gigantic jump. That's huge. They're scoring currently at a 0.96. That's crazy. Look at this huge spike and then just big drop where it almost touches it gets close to New Zealand, and then it spikes again and then sort of plateaus while everybody else sort of catches up, and then Canada and and America sort of embarrassed themselves a little bit in the last couple of years. The Yahoo that said New Zealand it was a shithole has probably never left the United States. Yeah, I'd be curious to know, where have you ever traveled to, sir and or madam? Want to check another one? Let's see, what else we got? Let's try, weight of seized rhino horns. Yeah! 112 kilograms. Damn. Edit countries and regions. Alright, cool. Let's add Canada. Oh, Canada might not be on here. The world. 11,000. Alright, let's see if we got... Canada's not on the list. United Kingdom is on the list. 78 kilograms. Let's go with other. 534. Interesting. Alright, what else we got? Imported imported goods as a share of GDP is gonna be really, really ugly for America. Unemployment rate. Ooh, oh, adjusted gender gap in median earnings. Ooh, okay, so here's the unemployment rate for America. It has not hit 10%, but it hasn't really been able to get below 2. This is starting in 1991. So let's grab Canada. Let's see where we're at. You want me to grab Denmark too? Yeah, I'll grab Denmark on my way by. Nope. Oh, Canada's not on here. Or I'm blind. Well, there's Denmark. And see if we can grab New Zealand, if New Zealand is on here. There's New Zealand. Why isn't Canada on here? That's weird. Oh, let's compare it to the world. Oh, there's Canada. Oh, it's at the top. Why is it up there? Whatever. Anyway. So Canada's green now, because I did them in a different order, and I am a fool. Okay. So United States is... from 1991. The United States is blue, so it just gets close to this 10% gap. Canada also gets close to this 10%. Denmark hits 5.6, and New Zealand is at 4.6. So you'll see that this trend kind of matches, but the spikes aren't as high. So like the whole thing, you can see the whole map kind of. Let's see what the world says. Yeah, and the world's like hovering around there where it kind of comes up and comes down. So this is at least how I am interpreting the data. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just looking at the numbers, right? I'm your typical average individual who, you know, has 62 IQ. 63, I got my glasses on. So you can kind of notice that these trends are following. Like they're all the same. You could draw a line overall. But these spikes, so where Denmark and New Zealand spike, they don't break 6%. Canada and America don't break 10%. Right? Same with here, right? In this time, United States and Canada flipped. So the US was higher and Canada went down. Was trended lower. Right? Here you've got the United States way down here at 4% in 2000. And then it just, whoo, just spikes up, drops again, just before 2015. Then 2020, this is COVID. This is obviously COVID. But it's interesting to see, like, the way this trended during COVID and how little there was and how big there was, right? And then you've got the 2010s. You got this low bar, this downward trend into the 2000s, up again, back down from 2005, and then 2000, I'm assuming this is like 2008. Yeah, 2008, it starts to trend upwards, then starts to trend from 2010 all the way down, stays on a downward trend until COVID. So 2016 is right here. And then, like, drop, COVID. So, interesting. We'll see what this trend looks like in the next year, the next time the data points are put out. Adjusted gender gap in median earnings. There's Denmark. There's New Zealand. So we can zoom in a little bit here. Let's see if we can get all the way. So you've got New Zealand operating at 21.5% of a gap. And America way up here at 33 in 1984. Then you see this downward trend that is like kind of plateaus and then big drop in the 2000s. Right? Adjusted and is defined as the difference between median earnings of men and women relative to median earnings of men. Estimates refer to full-time employees and to self-employed workers. And this only goes to 2016. Like, it stops at 2016. So after 2016, we don't have the data. At least we don't have the data here. It might be other places, but this stops in 2016. Probably trending together because most countries are influenced by U.S. Economics and stock market. Yeah, oh, well, yeah, the world is very, like, tied in that regard. So when one country, particularly a large one like America, suffers massive unemployment, then the rest of the world has to deal with that scenario. But again, this is back to only 1984 to 2016, and we like 2016 is like the drop off. But if you look at look how low this is. 25% dropped down to 18.9 and 18.6 respectively, with America having an uptick. New Zealand having this huge spike and then just a spike way down and then like working its way downwards with little dips. And Denmark being relatively consistent. Like this is pretty much the same, and then it starts its downturn. So that's interesting. This data I don't really know how to read, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure what information I can gather from this outside of there seems to be a very slow downward trend, but it is a very slow one. But I don't know what that looks like in practice. Anyway, back to if anybody wants this info, if you want to go find this data, it's ourworldindata.org. And then I'm in /country. So if you guys wanted to take a look at the data, you can feel free to do that. But I think it's kind of a bit of a joke to call fucking New Zealand a shithole when New Zealand is clearly comparative, if not better than America in a handful of ways. And again, the data we looked at does not include the absolute train wreck that America is currently experiencing and is likely to experience for the foreseeable future.
I think everyone was wanting to come here.
Right.
Ask them, why do you think 20 million people beat feet to get here when they had a chance? Is it because this country sucks, dumbass?
Right. Yes. It's because your country had promises and agreements with other countries. Do you think that is always going to be the case? Why would anybody want to travel? Hey, we've got an eclectic group. Right, chat? We're eclectic in here. Who wants to travel to America right now? Who's looking to immigrate or go to a university in America right now? Anybody? And how many people in the chat want to leave America right now? Feel free to put your hand up. I've traveled to America. I have no interest in going back and won't be going back anytime soon. Fuck no. This year's World Happiness Report is published on Thursday. Damn it! Nope. No thank you. Oh, you want me to put up a poll? Yeah, alright, I'll put up a poll. Let's do a poll. Alright, start a poll. What the poll say? Does the poll say, are you going to America? Or are you interested? Are you interested in traveling /working /working / studying in America. Yes, no. Actually, you know what? Let's just make the question America question mark. America. Yes, no. Want to, like, if you are American and want to leave, and if you are American and want to stay. So, if you are somebody who is, there's the poll. If you are somebody who is looking to do education, or somebody in your family is looking to do, to travel for any kind of education, if America is an option that you're interested in, yes, no. Or if you're looking at traveling, working, or studying in America, yes or no. If you are from America and you're currently in America, if you are wanting to stay in America, or if you would rather not be in America right now. Now, it doesn't mean that you actually have to have plans. It doesn't mean you actually have to do it, but if you had unlimited money and you had whatever option that you had, is America a place right now that you are proud of and want to be living in, or do you want to see it change? Love the national state parks. Wouldn't study here because they cut funding for grant money. Yeah, fair enough. Does a rescue mission count? No. A rescue mission is you getting somebody out of America, so that would count as a no, or get me the fuck out. I'm not even contemplating visiting the United States while the felon is president. I'm not going anybody. What I'm waiting to see if a low demand makes tickets cheaper. I plan to make my stay a net loss. Not going back for at least 4 years. As an American, not me. I want out. Please adopt me. Oof is right. Yeah. I want to change mine to I want to leave. Listen, the people who are living in America right now don't want to be there. People immigrated to America because of what it offered to people. America had this idea of a promise, of a value, of a chance that if everyone deserves life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. That's one of the reasons why people wanted to immigrate and study and learn in America. That is no longer the case. The universities don't have the funding anymore because they've been cut by Trump, by Elon, by the brigade. So, goodbye. Like, you don't want immigration? You want people who are immigrating, but you want to have your cake and eat it too, and brag that you got immigrants, therefore your country is better? Do you even, out of curiosity, guys, chat, yes, no in the chat, because we've already got a poll going. Yes, no in the chat. Do you think this person has any idea of what New Zealand's immigration policy is? Second off, they're talking about Manya. You understand that Manya immigrated to New Zealand? She chose New Zealand to go and study in? So they're literally shit-talking about immigration, that as New Zealand is a shithole country that nobody wants to immigrate to, as a way to shit-talk somebody who chose to immigrate to New Zealand. Well, clearly, somebody did want to immigrate to New Zealand, and it was Manya. No. All kinds of no. Oh, go figure. Go figure. Now, I like I said at the beginning, I don't want to believe that this is the average American. But I'm feel like I'm forced to have to accept that this might be the case. Given the choice, I definitely go to New Zealand instead of the United States. Yeah, go figure. Go figure. All right, let's end the poll. Poll says no, 69 a no to America, 25 want to leave America, 0% want to stay in America, And 5% say yes, they would still go to America. God damn. New Zealand is beautiful. I guess they just didn't like Lord of the Rings. I don't know what to tell you. Alright. Horrible attempt to gaslight is horrible. Alright. Next question, real quick. No, they are MAGA cult members. Best ignored. Alright. On a scale of like 1 to 10. So okay, hold on. How do I word this? Is this the average American in your view? So this is going to be a two-part question. Do you believe that this type of person, the people we're talking that are making this video right here, that are being racist, that are just making up facts based on how they feel about things, have no idea about other countries outside of themselves, and are clearly just angry in general. Do you think, in your opinion, is this representative of the American population? Yes or no? I'm not asking if it is your view if you are an American. I'm asking if you as an American or as not an American view this type of rhetoric, this type of talk, this type of conversation, this level of intelligence, I guess, or a level of knowledge in like conceptually. Do you think this is like the average? I'm gonna hit play and we'll let you guys think about that one.
Right. So that's what you got to tell people to remind them that one was wanting to come here.
Right.
Ask them, why do you think 20 million people beat feet to get here when they had a chance? Is it because this country sucks, dumbass?
Right.
So that's what you got to tell people to remind them that what I used to tell people is that I'll start worrying about America when there's no more lines at the embassies around the world of people trying to get here.
Well, you might want to start being concerned because the embassies of America around the world are not lines of people to get in. That you don't get into America through the... Okay, so first off, they don't understand their own immigration policies, because that's not how that works. Second off, they're around the world at the American embassies right now are protests. You might want to get worried then, if that's the thing that's going to concern you. Let me just as a quick example, just really quick. Uh-oh. Just really quick.
Occupation is a crime!
Uh-oh, Panama.
On s'unira pour ça, on ne s'arrêtera pas, on continue le combat.
Va a caer. Así caerá el imperio de Donald Trump.
Este tema de cerrar fronteras creo que regresa tremendamente a una evolución que ya venía marchando. Creo que es un atentado muy importante a los derechos humanos y a que tanto los Estados Unidos justamente habían sido promotores de la lucha contra la defensa de los derechos humanos, ahora se ha venido a romper con este nuevo orden de Trump.
Brussels.
I'm concerned about a lot of things, climate, but also human rights.
I just hope that the democratic structures in the United States will remain in place.
Panama?
No tenemos miedo al imperialismo, que no hemos tenido miedo y que no estamos dispuestos a hacer una...
Oh, is that, I'm sorry, is that not enough for you? Does that not count? Oh, well, here's Germany.
Hundreds of Greenlanders have gathered in capital Nuuk. They are planning to march to U.S. consulate in the suburbs of the city. They protest U.S. President Donald Trump, who would like to annex their country. He said last week he will take the country, and he believes Greenland will be part of the United States.
No, is this not good enough for you? Is this not enough of a concern? No? You want another one? You want another one? Wow, go figure. It's almost like your concern about there being lines at embassies for people to get into your country was never true to begin with. And what is actually going on right now are protests at American embassies around the world. So are you concerned now, Marcy? And whoever Marcy is talking to? Are you concerned now? That's the thing you said would concern you, right? That's what you just said? That let me see. What was that?
What I used to tell people is that I'll start worrying about America when there's no more lines at the embassies around the world of people trying to get here. Anybody that can get here legally is down at the embassy getting their visa. So.
How delusional and out of touch do you need to be? How loud when was the last time you went down to the embassy to check it out, sir and or madam? No? No? Ah, that's really unfortunate. Gosh darn! Maybe if you had that Marxist master's degree, you would have a clue about what the fuck you're talking about.
People sat around in these other socialist states that are socialist because of our resources that we
other socialist states because of the resources that you have? You mean like you want to annex Canada for its resources? You mean the eggs that you're begging Denmark for, those resources? Or are you talking about the resources that President Donald Trump was trying to extort from Ukraine? The minerals. Those resources? Is that the resources that you're talking about? The ones that everybody wants a piece of the US for, right? Not the US wanting other people. Are you talking about the war in Afghanistan and Iraq over oil? You talking about that? No? No, those aren't, not those resources? Who is this idiot rolling on the floor laughing? I don't know. I don't even know if this person knows they're being recorded and then just blasted out onto the internet with their like the dumbest fucking shit I've heard in a while.
We keep the bad guys at bay. And they don't like that.
We keep you are certainly, yes, keeping the bad guys, and yes, the rest of the world doesn't like it. But I think what you're trying to say is that the Americans are the good guys who keep bad guys at bay. No. America has not been viewed as the good guy for a very long time, but on top of that, America has handedly sided with the communists, with Russia, this year. So, no, absolutely not. Not only has, like, the other thing too is, like, this is a little bit of a misnomer, right? People haven't viewed America as the quote-unquote good guys probably since, like, there's a running joke, there was a meme that America just invades other people's countries for their oil. Like, you got oil, look out, the Americans are coming. Like, don't worry, they're bringing freedom. Like, that's been a meme since, I don't know, 2000, little bit before 2001? Not since 2016, and probably not since, like, 1997. Yeah, 1997 is probably a good call for that one. Like, the Vietnam War was, like, if America wanted to have the reputation of being the good guy... Again, this is American propaganda at work. These are people who think America won World War II. These are people that think America participated in all of World War II, and the only part of World War II that happened was the part that America took part in. And that, like, without America, everyone would have lost World War II, and without America, the world wouldn't be a free place. Without America, blah, blah, and, like, none of that's true. That's just what Americans think. And it's just not the case. And even if it was true, you have to maintain that image by doing good shit. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but cutting 25-cent peanut butter packets that keep people alive who are starving, that aid that has been promised by the American people, and cutting that out from under people who need that help for stuff that's already bought and paid for, and then just dangling in front of them saying, no, you can't have this, because Elon Musk said so, because your unelected, illegal immigrant bureaucrat said so. You're not the good guys. Without America, you would speak German. Yeah. Sure. That's... Oh boy. Oh, the Gulf War, yes. The Gulf of America War.
Toxic masculinity. That's what they don't like.
What? Toxic masculinity? Oh, okay. I mean, do we want to have a conversation about, like, Trump and Elon and how toxic masculinity ties into their rise to power and their convincing of people that these two con artists are worth a damn?
So I'm probably going to share.
What is that sloshing? Are we in a boat? Is this a boat?
So I'm probably going to share some of this recording with on my YouTube.
Okay.
I just didn't know how to react to this person, you know? At first, I'm just like, I'm like, okay, well, let's go tit for tat. You don't know more than me, you're Canadian. Let's just...
I do know more than you. Definitively, I know more than you.
You know, let's go.
Well,
But
back up a second.
Let's go! And then you immediately tagged Dog the Bounty Hunter and cried to fucking big boy, big brother, fucking Orwellian daddy Trump to what? To call Secret Service on me? Shut the fuck up. What is this?
Usually when you argue with somebody from another country, they know a lot more about your country than you do about theirs.
Hey! He said something right! Correct. Usually when you argue with somebody from another country, they know a lot more about their country than you do about theirs. This is very, very American. Because Americans notoriously do not know dick shit about their own country, let alone other countries. So this is applicable to an American, not necessarily to everyone else. Because guess what? The education standards in other countries tend to include learning about other countries besides themselves. Canadians notoriously know a lot about sometimes more about American politics than they do about their own politics. Because of the way it's televised and how closely our countries are related. It's a meme. It's a joke that fucking Americans think that that Canadians live in igloos and have polar bear problems in Toronto. It's a joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to know about America. That's the reason.
No, it's not everybody wants to know about America. It's because everybody has to know about America. Because America is annoying and makes themselves everybody else's problem. Oh my, the arrogance. The arrogance of this uneducated dumb fuck. No wonder Marcy doesn't fucking know a goddamn word about what the fuck she's talking about. This is where she's getting her information. Have you considered going to oh, sorry, you can't go to the library in America. Not only are they defunded, but you burned all the books! It's more of a what the fuck are the idiots doing now? Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so embarrassed. Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, so how's that poll looking? Are these people the average Americans, do you think? And that is a 50-50 split. Good God. Not to mention through things like Hollywood, you learn a lot about the United States anyway. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. If you're talking about like Hollywood, accessibility to media, America puts a lot out and America doesn't take a lot in. So America likely has this skewed perception about like what media from other countries looks like. Right? And they don't have America is very isolated in like what access to like news that it gets unless you go out looking. Like, you can't turn on the TV and find news that is not an American-based news source very easily, especially like if you've just got cable. Right? You're not going to find the BBC, you're not going to find CBS, you're not going to find. But in Canada, for example, I can turn on the TV and I can find an American news source. I can watch The Daily Show. I can find like MSNBC or Fox News really easily. But America, it doesn't work the other way. And you want to know how I know this? I talk to Americans. And I've been to America. I spent time in America, and I flicked through their channels to see what there is access to. And they do not have as readily, easily accessible media, specifically like news media, from outside their own country. Let alone like cartoons, let alone like just TV shows. I mean, your best chance is gonna be Netflix as of right now, because Netflix had such like a big Korean like K-drama archive. But that's if America even gets access to it, specifically through copyright laws. Right? So when the loud kid in class starts accusing you of eavesdropping, yeah. Wait, y'all don't live in igloos? No, we do. We all have pet beavers. I think for Americans, the best viewpoint they have on another country is probably Japan with anime. Yeah, probably. Which is ridiculous. I've met Americans who think Denmark is a suburb of Amsterdam. Oh, God. Oh, no. That's not good. Oh yeah, but everybody super duper cares about America. Anyway, go on. Foolish, arrogant, man, probably.
Another country, they know a lot more about your country than you do about theirs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Because everyone wants to know about America. That's the reason they know about America, is because we're the top fucking dog. Okay?
Guys, America's the top fucking dog, which is why they are begging Denmark for eggs, which is why everybody is telling them to fuck off. I said yesterday that the American industrial military complex is fucked. Jack's analysis for 5 said, Americans, get yourself behind a VPN while you still can. Yeah, good point. Czech gets Sweden and Switzerland mixed up. I'm really bad at geography. But it's okay, guys. America's the top dog. That's why nobody is capitulating to them on the world stage right now, right? That's why people are pulling out of the F-35 deal, right? That's why Teslas are getting lit on fire in France, right? That's why there's protests across, not just in America, but around the world of Tesla, right? Because America's the top dog, you can just bully people, which is why Canada is 100% not capitulating to bullying, which is why the only person who has actually backed down on any tariffs or anything has been Trump, right? Because you're the top dog, you don't need anybody else. Play this on stream. Alright, I trust you. I trust clicking this. It'll be fine. Oh, it went to... Okay. There we go. What am I a play quiz? No, I'm not playing a quiz. Get out of here. Cringe listening to this. It's such a bad reflection of our entire educational system. Yeah, but here's the thing, is it accurate? My question is this like a microcosm that is like a distilled, accurate, do people view Americans like this? Do you think that this is what America is and and I'm struggling to not believe that this is what I should expect. If I were to sit down in front of, if I were to go to America and sit down at a bar, is this what I would expect to hear? And I think that there's going to be like a geographical, depends on where you go, right? So it depends on if you're in an educated area of America or not. Am I going to a bar near a university, or am I going to a bar in rural nowhere? I would prefer to believe that this is not the case, but I think the number of Americans that are like this outnumber the Americans who are not. That's what I'm starting to believe. Especially with the way I've seen Americans reacting to Trump, particularly. But alas, go on.
Yeah.
And there's everyone envies the big guy, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, J.D. Vance loves Trump, but I bet there's still a little piece of him that says, damn, I wish I had this.
Yeah.
You know that J.D. Vance called Trump Hitler, right? Oh, did my live chat get stuck? Let's flick it. We'll flicker it. Oh boy. This guy is delusional. Who this all this tells me is this man envies Trump. That's all this is telling. This is what I'm gathering from this. This man envies Trump. This is so dumb. This is very dumb. People outside of America do not envy America the way you think that they do. People outside of America do not wish they had Donald Trump as their monarch. or their dictator. That is not something the rest of the world wants. That's why you see the protests that you're seeing. The other world leaders mock Donald Trump and mocked him in 2016, and they're mocking him again now. That includes Russia, by the way. Putin is laughing at Trump. And all you have to do is look at Russian state media to see. Because he does it live. For everyone to see. This man envies Trump. What's there to envy about Trump? Why? What thing that Trump does do you think is enviable? Is it killing people? Is it inciting violence against the law? Is it believing you're above the law and being allowed to just do whatever you want? Is it the money that he doesn't have and the money that he does have is stolen by, not paying taxes and overpricing his real estate? Is it the way he treats his family? By denigrating his sons on live TV and embarrassing his wife and cheating on his wife? Is it the sexual assault part? Is that what you're envying? Which part of Trump do you envy? I'd be curious to know. Because most people don't envy felon predators. Methinks. They like Trump because he validates their prejudice and they think everybody wants that. Yeah, because it's shallow and unintelligent. Sorry, unintelligent is too big of a word. It's shallow and foolish.
And that's normal.
No! That's not normal! None of this is normal! This is not normal! It's not normal! It's not normal to fucking envy of somebody who has been impeached. He's a disgrace. It's not normal to envy bullies. It's not normal to envy somebody who's an adjudicated rapist. That's not fucking normal.
And we're the biggest dog in the world. Okay, and we have been. We have been since World War I, and then after World War II, that was it.
Oh yes, the narcissistic callback. What did I say? Did I not call the World War II thing? All the way back to World War I and World War II. Don't pay attention to Vietnam or Afghanistan, or don't pay attention to anything that we've done since then. We have to go all the way back to World War II to say we're the top dogs and we have been since World War II. Yeah, and nothing has happened between now and World War II that would be embarrassing. The Americans in Afghanistan, the American military, definitely didn't fuck up in Afghanistan and Iraq, and definitely didn't get other people's soldiers killed. America never called Article 5, right? You're the top dog. Why would you ever need to call Article 5? Sorry. Do you know what Article 5 is? My chat knows what Article 5 is. I don't need to explain it to these guys. These guys know what Article 5 is. Do you? Do you know what Article 5 is? Article 5 is the NATO agreement that is, if one NATO country gets attacked, the rest of the NATO countries back up that country that was attacked. Article 5 has been invoked one time, and it was after 9/11 by America, where America was backed up by Canada, by France, by the United Kingdoms, by all of the NATO countries. And you know who else was in there? You know who else responded and helped America? Ukraine. Ukraine assisted America when America called Article 5. People from other countries died on your behalf. Yes, and Ukraine is not part of NATO. And they assisted. They were not beholden to Article 5. They helped you. A lot of Danes died for USA. And now they want to annex Greenland. Uh-huh. If you're the big top dog that everybody needs to look out for and everybody envies, why would you ever even need to invoke Article 5? This is, by the way, the Article 5 that Trump said that he doesn't believe that other countries would reach out and help America, even though that's literally the only time it's ever happened. This is when it was shown that your president at the time, Bush, was doing war crimes and lying to the American people about this invasion in the first place. So keep in mind, people who are not educated on the way the rest of the world views America, you lied to them too. You lied to all these countries, pulled on Article 5, drug them into a war that you were lying to your own fucking people about what the cause of and what was necessary about it. Did you just forget about that? Do you think that these other countries just don't know that those things happened? No? Are you embarrassed yet? Nah, they're just the top dog. They're top of a pile of shit. Congratulations. You're the guard dog of a fucking dump. Good job. Good for you. I'm so embarrassed I live here. The funny part is that America could have asked to expand their bases, and they would have been allowed to until Donald said that he might send more troops so he can take it over. Yeah. Go figure.
A lot of countries have a bomb, but we're the only one that has shown the balls to use it.
Yes, we have.
They're talking about the fucking nukes that they dropped on Japan. Let's pretend. Okay, we're gonna have to shelf that the people who were working on those bombs, particularly Albert Einstein, was not American, right? Right? We're gonna have to shelf that. We're going to have to also shelf that one of the major concerns about dropping the atomic bomb. Are they taking a bath? Yeah, they seem to be, yes. They're having this conversation in a bathtub. Bathroom streams are always the best streams, didn't you know? I guess we're also gonna have to put aside the the current state of nuclear efficiency and proficiency when it comes to nuclear bombs and nuclear armaments. Right? Einstein was part of the project. He was working on the physics. There's Chesh bathroom stream when. I think there might be one in my memberships where I was shaving my legs before I was going to court. The number of issues with this concept, this seems to me that these people do not understand what the current state of nuclear armaments is. What current nukes are capable of, what a nuclear warhead even looks like. Yes, Einstein's work helped split the atom. Yes, exactly. That is what I'm referring to. The race to nuclear armaments in World War II was one thing. This is also keep in mind, the context of this was Marcy saying that America doesn't owe Ukraine anything. I would like to point out that besides Ukraine participating in the Afghanistan-Iraq situation, where America embarrassed itself on the world stage yet again, you have to understand that the agreement to not have nuclear armaments was an agreement that the US made with Russia and Ukraine, where Russia said they would not attack Ukraine, and America said if Ukraine is attacked by Russia, America will back up Ukraine and help protect Ukraine. You owe Ukraine. America owes Ukraine. Period. End of sentence. And the fact that people like this think that they don't, and think that it has nothing to do with them, and think that none of this is related to anything that happens in America, are fools. Ignorant fucking fools.
Not that way. That's very true. Very true. Good point. Good point. Very good.
So that's a threat, by the way. For anybody who didn't catch that, that is the threat that America will start dropping nukes on countries they don't like. Yeah, they gave up 1,700 nukes for that protection. Yup.
Point on it. Like that.
Yeah, and I just listen to opinions that foreigners have, and I always remember that they're the freedom to have that opinion, because guys like me have fought all over the world so that people like that can have their dumbass opinions.
I'm sorry, when did America fight for the freedom of New Zealand? Excuse me? Hi, I'm Canadian. What has America done for us on a military level? We fought our own battles in World War II. And we did amazing things, some horrific things. It wasn't America, it was us. And we were there the whole time. We didn't join at the end and then jerk off and pretend we did something after we showed up late to D-Day, by the way. Yeah, America showed up late to D-Day, for anybody who doesn't know. The footage that American children are shown when they're discussing Americans' participation in World War II is footage of Canadians. Because the surviving footage was from Juno Beach, which was the Canadian landing spot. In fact, America would not have been successful in its landing if Canada wasn't so successful on theirs that they were able to circumvent, cut off Germans, and help. Motherfucker, where? The wars that Canada joins and is a part of are yours. We don't start those fucking things. You do. And then we, like good neighbors, have helped you. Where are you, Americans, fighting for Canada's freedom of speech? Again, when did America fight for Manya in New Zealand, who moved from India? When did America help? When did you help with that? I'd love to know. Give me some details. Give me some specifics. In joint wars, the US have constantly gotten on the radio after other countries have done the hard work and told them to wait so they can go do the easy glory part themselves. That would never happen. America would never have stolen valor. That's why they use the audio of a hawk to represent the sound a bald eagle makes. So, your dumbass opinions and the freedom that other people have, you do realize that countries have fought for their own freedoms, right? France, the UK, India, the civil wars and getting and no longer being a colony of England was a thing that happened in a lot of places around the world. Australian independence. No? It doesn't surprise me. Do you really think these people actually think that freedom of speech is delivered to other countries by America? Like, freedom of speech doesn't exist without America. Again, we're back to these people think that the internet is American. Oh, without America, the internet wouldn't exist. Yeah, that's not true. If you really want to get down to it, and you want to talk about communications and telecommunications, which is what the internet is based off of, you're welcome. That was Canada. Because Alexander Graham Bell, the invention of the phone, was Canadian. Oh, by the way, Alexander Graham Bell is a terrible person. And thinks that he believes in, like, deaf erasure, so people who are deaf aren't people, and like, sign language should be abolished and shit like that. But that's because he was a crazy lunatic asshole. But he did invent the phone. Oops. I've been pointing it out, the bald eagle thrives more in Canada than the United States. Oh, the bald eagle would be dead and would be extinct if it wasn't for Canada. The Americans would have killed it off. American laws apply worldwide. Ah, yes. Of course, American... Like, do they actually think... He mentioned World War II, right? Does he think World War II was fought on the basis of free speech? Do you think that the laws in Germany, the speech laws and hate speech laws in Germany are because of America? Or does he think that America should go and invade Germany? Because, I mean, that's something that they've already been teasing. J.D. Vance was there making a fucking embarrassment of himself. And so was Elon Musk with the AFD. The Nazi party, by the way. Hi. American here. For most of the beginning part of World War II, the majority of the population didn't want to spend money. Pearl Harbor was the only reason for entry prior. There was a lend-lease. Yep. And, Continuum, real quick. How many years was it that the war started before America joined? Do you think that Americans really have free speech right now? Considering the address to the DOJ, that the threat on journalism and the threat of any kind of retaliation by the American government to journalists and anybody who criticizes the Trump regime. What about the protester that got locked up the other day? No? What about the teacher that got arrested? No? What about the True Social post of Trump saying that boycotting Tesla was illegal? No? How about Mr. Freedom of Speech Elon Musk censoring the word cis on his platform? Oh, I was asking when the war started, before how long before America joined in World War II? He probably thinks that Poland was wrong for fighting Germany. Rights and liberties and freedoms, but only for me and not for you, not everyone. First rule of law in Germany that stands before all other laws, thanks to this one guy. Yeah, go figure.
I mean, you don't see people from other countries buried here. There's American cemeteries. I think we have American cemeteries in 54 countries. We're American.
You going to other countries and fucking dying when nobody asked you to be there is not everyone else's fault. What are you You're talking about memorials to American soldiers? Are you fucking serious right now? This is the most ridiculous appeal to emotion that I have ever heard in my goddamn fucking life from somebody who's so much of an ignorant twat. This is amazing. What the fuck? Yeah, what does this prove? What's your point? What is that water sound? I think they're in the bathtub. I don't know. This is, remember we talked about Marcy on last Monday? This is Marcy's response, where she just gets some guy that we have no idea who they are, that it seems to be claiming some kind of military association to take credit for freedom of speech around the world, because without America, nobody would have freedom of speech. I guess. Which is just not true. We're listening to the delusional ramblings of some guy in a bathtub. That's what we're listening to.
Have died for assholes like her to be able to spout their
54 Americans died for assholes to have their opinion. My brother in Christ. What was World War II fought about? You brought it up. It was for people's freedoms, right? It was for freedoms from fascisms and from authoritarians telling people what they can and cannot have. Right? So why are you mad? And again, you're talking about fucking New Zealand. You're not talking about Germany. You're talking about New Zealand, motherfucker. What was New Zealand's role and position during World War II? Somehow I don't think you even know what that is. I don't think you have a fucking clue. I'll make it easier for you. What was Australia's role in World War II? Your indignance is embarrassing and kind of offensive, actually. I'm a little bit offended. This guy should call in. We'll have a chat. New Zealand's role was that they sent their hobbits to Isengard. Nazis took power in about 1928 through to 1929, annexed Poland around 1935, United States entered with boots in 1941. Yeah, that's about what that sounds about what I learned in my history classes in high school. That sounds about right to me.
Marxist bullshit. But
What Marxist okay, define Marxism. I don't think you know what Marxism is. What Marxist bullshit are you talking about? Calling out fascism when you see fascism isn't Marxism. Being critical of America isn't Marxism. I don't think you know what Marxism is. Would you like me to provide the Britannica again for you? I can do that. Would you guys like the Britannica link? You know that Marxism and communism aren't inherently the same thing, right? I don't think they know that. I don't think you know that.
Service.
Yay. That's the thing too. That there's some good guys from New Zealand. New Zealand had some top-notch commandos back in World War II.
Oh, so you do know that New Zealand had commandos in World War II that participated in the war fighting on your side. And they were part of the Allies. But that just doesn't mean anything. It only matters if it's Americans. So New Zealand went out of their way to help fight fascism. You should be a Marxist, though. Marxism is now a political catch-all for I hate your politics. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a buzzword to shut down people's thought processes. You just dismiss it on the basis of, oh, they're just a Marxist. You'll notice that as much as I can sit here and say that I don't like MAGA and I'm going to be dismissive, I'm still listening to what they're saying and talking about the merits of what they have to say. I'm not simply saying, oh, they're MAGA, therefore I ignore them. I am still sitting here going through this and taking the time. Austria was also annexed in 1938. European joke, I am a socialist. What kind of socialist? Yeah. Marxism is just a criticism of capitalism. That's part of it, yeah. That is a part of Marxism. Oh, right. Did I get you that link? Yeah, I did. Okay.
And I'm sure there's good people in Canada.
Not very damn many.
Well.
Canada, with their very notorious fucking reputation of being nice guy peacekeepers. There are not very many good people in Canada. Alright. Define good. What makes someone good? Present for 10 said the real funny part of all that happening in America, for me as a German, listening in history, how he got into power, partially so similar. Let's just hope America wakes up before it's too late. Yeah, let's hope the American checks and balances actually, check and balance. We'll see. I'm sure there are some good people in Canada, but not very many. Really? Really, America? Is this the average, after everything that Canada has done for America, is this what the average American thinks of Canadians? Really? Have you been to Canada? Have you been to New Zealand? You say that there's been like a lot of people like you who have gone to these other countries to fight, but not you. So where have you been? There are some good commandos, but their country's a shithole. You're projecting. Canada, the people who burnt down the White House and created the first war crimes. Hey, listen. They weren't war crimes when we did them. New Zealand, may I remind you, participated in the North African campaign where the US was nowhere to be fucking seen. Oh, really? Go figure. Who was it that recently made like a little bit of a snide, petty move against China, between China and Taiwan? Oh, is that Canada? That was a Canadian boat? Ooh. You're welcome for the Geneva Convention. The checklist! Don't let us break out the checklist. But it's interesting for me to see, because I don't think this would have been remember yesterday when I went through the propaganda that the wartime propaganda that Donald Trump was putting out against Canadians towards directed at the American people, to say that Canadians are like bad people, that they should be the 51st state, that they don't need anything from us, etc., etc., etc. But now bitching and whining and moaning that they don't have eggs and their prices are too high and yada 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 yada. Oh, if we don't have anything, then tariffs should mean nothing. But apparently they mean a lot. Go figure. Hot ash isn't a thing. Don't worry about it. Like, there's a few good people in Canada, but not very many. Okay. Did Dear Leader tell you that?
No, because most of them have already come here.
Now, do all Canadians
What? Most of the good Canadians have already traveled to America? Cool, great. Then what's the problem? You mean like Jordan Peterson? You mean like Ted Cruz? You mean like Elon Musk's family that were part of the Canadian Nazi Party, these grandparents that fled Canada because of political pressure? Because they wanted to keep being Nazis and fascists, and they fled to South Africa and then immigrated back up to America? Oh yeah? Remember at the beginning he said he would be concerned about America when there stopped being lines at the embassies to get in? And guess what? There's protests at those embassies around the world. Oh yeah, Steven Crowder! I forget about Steven Crowder all the time. Are you embarrassed yet?
No, because most of them have already come here.
Now, do all Canadians feel like that, you think?
No.
Okay, this person is just...
Don't you remember?
Do all Canadians feel like what? That Canadians don't like fascists? Why don't we look at the Canadian polling? You want to find out what Canadians think? Let's ask. We have that information. We can ask them what Canadians think. Hold on, let me pull up my Blue Sky real quick. Let's take a look. See. Excuse me, pardon me. I'm not gonna show you this because I can't trust Blue Sky. Porn might come up. Let's look up polling. Nope. Polling Canada. Let's look. You can find out what Canadians think. Let's see. Preferred Prime Minister polling. Polyev 31 at -2. Carney at 31 +1. Okay, so that would be our Liberal Party, not our Conservative Party. Our Conservative Party looks a little bit more like your Trump regime, but not as aggressive. And this is our Liberal Party, which would be like a more left or an actual center-left Democratic Party, if you had one. Let's see. Top issues. Trump / U.S. relations, 27%, +24 since January 31st. Wow. That seems like it's really important. Here's some projections for federal polling from a liaison. That swing is huge. Current polling in Canada's average set. Federal polling again, but this one was online. This is online polls, 42% Liberal. That is a massive swing considering they were 20 points behind. The latest run of polling model has the Liberals winning a majority government. Let's keep going. Net favorites. Carney +18, Polyev -10. This is 19 hours ago. 20 hours ago. Federal polling by telephone. Look at how close that is. This is by telephone. I'm sorry, you probably don't know what that means. Don't worry about it. All you need to understand is that Canada is swinging way left, really fast, and really hard. And if you knew anything about Canada, which you don't, obviously, you've made your ignorance incredibly well known. If you knew anything about Canada, you would know that our politics move notoriously slow. Keep going. This is from a day ago. Majority of Canadians oppose the carbon tax. Do you know what that is? No, you don't know what that is. Let's keep going. Russia to blame for the invasion of Ukraine. More than 60% of Canadians believe we're on a war path to the Third World War. Unsurprising. Vast majority of Canadians say it's the Russians. Yeah, because we're not fucking idiots. Go figure. The Conservative lead is gone. A stunning reversal. What do Canadians think? Gee, I wonder. Who's best equipped to handle the Canada-US relations with Trump's new presidency? 38% the Liberal Party, 33% Polyev, the Conservative Party. I would like to point out, for anybody who doesn't know, the Conservative Party in Canada was getting along with and is in bed with the Trump presidency. So if you want to know what fucking Canadians think about these tariffs and think about Donald Trump and think about the authoritarian fascist regime that the American structure is turning into, they don't want it. They're not interested. Surprise, surprise. These are official polls. You can look them up yourself. 9 in 10 Canadians oppose joining the United States. What do Canadians think, I wonder? When Donald Trump first made a joke about Canada becoming the 51st state, it raised a lot of eyebrows. Fast forward to today, that joke has quickly become less funny and more like an overt threat to Canadian sovereignty. Couple the 51st state remarks with economic warfare in the form of tariffs alongside the questioning of old treaties between the two nations that solidified the borders to what they are today, and Canadians are not enthused in the slightest. New polling from Angus Reid Institute looks into how Canadians' attitudes have changed towards the United States and explores the idea of statehood. Go fucking figure. Who would have fucking thought? Surprising share of Canadians support EU membership. Gee, I wonder, what do Canadians think? If you're going to run your opinions based off of majority, rule and what the majority thinks, you should probably actually find out what the majority thinks before you fucking embarrass yourself. Oh, by the way, I'm more than happy to hear that fascist authoritarian rejects, recessions, don't like Canadians. Good. That's something that Canadians are generally proud of. We don't want dictators to like us. We don't want fascists to like us. We don't want people like Donald Trump or Marcy's fuckboy to like us. That's not something we're interested in. We don't want Putin. We don't want the leader of North Korea to like us. That's intentional.
Well,
No, because most of them have already come here.
now, do all Canadians feel like that, you think?
No.
Okay, this person is just...
Don't you remember the truckers?
She reminds me of the person who screamed. You know
Remember
that?
the whole... ask her about
The truckers? You mean the ones that were arrested? The ones that have been deemed... The ones that terrorized Ottawa? The ones that have had, that were part of a terrorist organization? The ones that were investigated to have ties to Russia? Those truckers? Those truckers that seem to be completely silent when it comes to the sovereignty of Canada, protesting all 0 places? The one that Polyev paid for and showed up to give them donuts? Those truckers? Those truckers that were ostensibly an attack on Canada's fucking parliamentary? The ones that were backed by the Conservative Party that I just showed you have completely swung the other complete fucking way, right? Those truckers? Those buffoons? Those people attacking Canadian people who did nothing to them? The people that were throwing their own Canadian brothers and sisters under the bus? Chesh, don't forget Marcy's hubby's party is the Republican Party and participates with them. Well, I mean, yeah, good for you. Are they? I don't know. I don't know anything about this person. Is that her husband? I don't know who the fuck this is talking right now. Or what their credentials are, or lack thereof. Those the anti-vax mother truckers, yeah, the ones that were doing arson and trying to kill people by setting off fireworks, starting fires, and blockading exits. Those truckers?
About if she doesn't think that she lives in a Marxist country, ask her about how their government put down those truckers protesting.
You mean the Emergency Act? That is a legal part of our government system that has nothing to do with it. You think, define Marxism and then explain to me how you already admitted that you don't know dick shit about how other countries function. So if you already admitted that you don't know how other countries function, how do you know that our country is Marxist? And also define Marxism. He's just some guy taking a bath. Yeah. He knows what he knows. The free dumb convoy bullshit was just spoiled children having a giant temper tantrum. And a lot of it was instigated and done by Americans that were backed by Russia. Not Canadians. Putting people in danger counts as freedom of speech, right? Right. Well, not if you do it do it in a Tesla, like near Tesla. Apparently, that's not allowed. They don't even know what the law Trudeau invoked was created to use against leftists to punish them. Yeah, no, Trudeau invoked a law, and the main thing that he did, besides arresting people for being violent and trying to kill people and terrorizing the city of Ottawa, which, by the way, the truckers went to protest in Ottawa, something that was being done in Toronto. These motherfuckers went to the wrong city. They should have been protesting in Toronto and they went to Ottawa instead because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. But one of the things that Trudeau did was he cut off their funding. He froze the bank accounts to people that were funding this terrorist situation. Good. He did the right thing. Necessary to be a trucker. Oh, honk honk, the freedom convoy. I was actually a little bit sympathetic to the truckers because I think truckers get a bad rep. I think they get not treated well by the people that they vote in. But they lost most of the goodwill by being terrorists. They lost all of the goodwill by being terrorists and taking money from Russian agents. But yeah, that's what about that is Marxist? I'm curious to know. Is taking down terrorism Marxist? And what was it that America was doing? Their war on terror? Does that count as Marxist then? Would that not make you more Marxist than Canada? By that logic? No? You don't know what Marxism is. Clearly.
Where's your freedom of assembly? I mean, they confiscated their trucks, they took their bank accounts.
Yes, because they were terror. Do you know? Were you in Ottawa? Did you watch a single video? Did you know that they were using their trucks as terrorist equipment? They were blaring their horns at all hours of the day to terrorize the people that lived in Ottawa so that they couldn't sleep? Like, that was intentional? That was part of their plan? Like, they said that out loud? Like I said, they set fires to places and blockaded people from being able to leave and flee their apartment buildings that they set on fire? What freedom of assembly are you fucking talking about? Or are you talking about the Tesla protests? Because those are a thing that's happening right now, which demonstrates that Canada very much has the freedom to protest. If you want to talk about that, though, do you want to talk about the Palestine protests on campuses where your police, your state government employees were sent to attack them? Where's your freedom to assembly? What about being told, what about the attacks on Tesla protesters that's going on right now? No? Where's your freedom to assembly? What about the Nazi that ran a car through Charlottesville and killed a lady? What about January 6th? I just love it because it would be definitive proof that Mussolini is the biggest snowflake wokester of all time. Imagine being so soft that you need to cry to the president that people are bullying. People are tagging the cars that people bought from me. Well, that's all these people are. I would like to remind you, Marcy tagged Dog the Bounty Hunter to try to come after me because she didn't like that a Canadian said no. Oh no, a Canadian wasn't interested and didn't want Elon Musk in their country, so you have to run and cry and make up a bunch of random bullshit in your bathtub? You feel better? Are you embarrassed yet?
I mean, and a lot of those guys came here.
A lot of those guys were already from America. And where? Did they? Is that what happened to them? Because a good handful of them were actually arrested, which means they are not in America. Or did they flee? Are you saying that you're harboring terrorists in America that have warrants against them in Canada? Is that something that you just admitted to? And you know that for a fact? So you know where they are. So you're complicit in that crime? Did you just admit to fostering criminals? And hiding them? Oops. Fucking oops. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, you ignorant motherfucker. But the laws in America aren't the laws in every country in the world, dumbass. Yeah, it's weird that people in a different country would act differently. It's almost like America isn't the entire world. Yeah, go figure. And this is why I think that it's very important that Canadians take and the rest of the world take very seriously these declarations of war that Trump keeps putting out there, and this rhetoric that, because there are Americans that are dumb enough to fucking believe it. Clearly.
And more fucking top dog.
No, they didn't have anything. They came, there's no place left to go. They came here because they're Canada. See, that's why Canada don't appreciate it, is that they're so close to us. We have an open border with them. I mean,
Canada doesn't appreciate America because America fosters Canadian terrorists? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what I just understood? Is that what he just said? Canada doesn't appreciate America because the truckers came to what? What? Huh? I'm sorry. Somebody in chat, can you please can you itemize this for me, because you lost me, sir.
there's no place left to go. They came here because they're Canada. See, that's why Canada don't appreciate it, is that they're so close to us. We have an open border with them. I mean, I don't have any idea what it's like now, but...
Yeah, we already know you don't know what you're talking about. Go on.
Canada it's harder to get into Canada from the to go across the border that way than it is to come back this way.
Is it? When was the last time you did it? It's harder to get into the United States than it is to get into Canada from America, and vice versa. Do you mean just driving, or do you mean immigration? Because if you're talking about immigration policies, sure, yeah, Canada has a different immigration policy than America does. But you just drive across the border. That's what an open border means. It also doesn't mean that there's no checks. There are Canadian and American checks at every border crossing. So, what the fuck are you talking about? Because our border guards actually do their jobs. There's also that. There's also more fentanyl being taken at the US-American border coming from the US side. Because Canada and America is our Mexico. We're just not dicks to you for no reason. BS, all you need is paper documentation and don't be an asshole. Yeah, go figure. Go do it. Go. Citation needed. What are you talking about? I have gone back and forth over the border. As early as last year, I went over the border. I took a plane. I've been over the border driving on more than one occasion. I had no problems, one way or the other. The COVID restrictions in Canada were more strict than the ones in America, if that's what you're talking about. And good for us, because we had less people die. Unlike your country, who had Trump telling people to inject bleach like a fucking psychopath. He's complaining because he can't get in with guns or he has an arrest record. Do you? Do you have an arrest record? Are you trying to bring guns illegally over the border? So you're a criminal. So you're trying to do crime, if that were the case? If you're trying to illegally bring in guns from America? You know a lot of, like, the illegal guns in Canada come from America, right? I had no problem crossing the border between US and America in either direction. Yep. I traveled during COVID. I took a flight back and forth, and I had no problems. No issues. Had my documentation. Easy peasy. They probably thought the car was driving itself and thus not a concern. Yeah. America is our Mexico, but America is getting to be Mexico's Mexico. Yeah. I went to Canada by car last year. I was delayed because of the new real ID, but I got over. Oh, yeah, go figure. They don't call it the Iron Highway for nothing, yeah. I forgot what channel I posted it on, but yesterday or the day before I posted a YouTube video about Yanks thinking the Second Amendment was a global right for them. Yeah, bizarre. Americans travel to other places in the world and think only American laws apply. So they're like, complain about freedom of speech because they want to do hate crime in other countries. Because they know nothing about the places they're going to and have zero context because they're ignorant and stupid. And yes, I do believe ignorance and stupidity are two different things. I think it's ignorant to not know about somebody else's country. I think it's stupidity to want to travel to that country and learn nothing about it before you go. And I think it's absolutely, absurdly, bafflingly, like, offensive to then have these entitled. There's just this arrogant, entitled nature that Americans like this have. That's just like, you don't know anything. You don't want to know anything. And you just think everybody should kowtow to everything that you want. And that's why people like this envy Trump. That's why people fucking like Trump. Because they think Trump is doing that on the world stage. And he's not. That is not what is happening. They're just eating whatever they're being fed. And that's just not true. They don't even understand that they have ostensibly, for all intensive purposes, a state-run media circuit that is controlled by, like, big corporations and money that is being curtailed. Like, for example, Fox News. Fox News isn't news, it's entertainment. It's not a reliable source for unbiased information, or any information for that matter. But yet here we are. Goes to the beach, complains there's too much sand. Yeah. Goes to Portugal, complains they speak Spanish. Come to the UK thinking your gun rights apply, and get sliced and diced. Knife crime is a thing in the UK, just saying. It's coarse and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Americans, they're coarse and irritating, and they get everywhere. Thank Ronald Reagan for scrapping the fairness doctrine for faux news. Yeah. Go figure. You have no idea what the rest of the countries of the world think about America.
I mean, we just motioned them on. Come on in. I mean, when I was...
So you're doing a bad job controlling your border, and so therefore that's our fault? You just motion and say, come on in, because you assume that Canadians are good people. Despite what you just said, that there are not many good people in Canada, you just assume that they are and tell them to come on in, regardless. Oops. So you're lax on border security. That's a you problem.
Station in North Dakota, I mean, there were Canadian vehicles all over the place.
Uh-huh. And? So, have you ever been stationed outside of America? Out of curiosity? Since you want to invoke your military career and the shoulders of other military operatives that have done good in other countries, and you want to say that applies to you, where have you been? What did you participate in?
They're coming down all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
And?
I remember going through the kind of like what we saw on the border, and then to ask what we're going for, and when we come back through, they asked a couple questions. Of course, I was 10 years old, but I mean, it didn't seem like...
You mean they ask you basic questions at the border when you were 10? And how old are you now? The last time you were at the border, you were 10 years old. And you're trying to claim you have any fucking idea what's going on. Any fucking clue. Yeah, border towns and states tend to have a lot of people going back and forth because Canada and America are incredibly integrated. And you're just now noticing that Canada's Marxist? You realize that if we were, and if, like, Canada was communist or whatever you're actually trying to say, not capitalist, which is not true, motherfucker, when you come back, those were asked by Americans. Americans, yes, the Americans asked you the questions. The Canadians asked you why you were coming to Canada. That's standard questions. This is so bad, it's basically IRL streaming to no one because a Canadian hurt their fifis. Yes. Correct.
Like it was any big deal to...
That changed after 9/11.
That was flight security in America drastically changed after 9/11. Not because of Canada. Canada took in your flights, emergency flights, and people, and took care of them during 9/11. You absolute fucking numpty? Are you fucking serious? The very big bad Canadians that are all Marxist, mean people took in flights that were redirected to not go to America, putting us at risk, by the way, because if we were concerned about there being terrorist flights, they were aiming them at Canada. They redirected the flights, and we took them in, and we housed your people. You! Custom runs the car plates and knows they are returning. Can't think why the questions would be different. Me either. Don't know. Couldn't say. This is insanity.
Yeah, but Canada is just...
Is what?
I'm glad that I talked to you before I go make this response to this person, because I don't have the energy for it. I don't have the time for it. But I do.
You don't have the energy and the time for a fight you started? Where you were like, come at me, bro? Are we serious? This is what we call copium. Yeah, I know, right? Like, what is happening? What? I'm gonna make this response video, but I'm glad you gave me all the answers so I can just fucking not know anything myself and just repeat what you told me and then just post it online and not bother to put in a single piece of effort to educate myself on fucking anything, because God forbid I would ever want to have any kind of information to actually form a real opinion. Go fucking figure. We are 2 away from the spice, by the way. She's just dumb, worn-out woman and needs a big, strong trad man to save her. Yeah. I'm sure his military service in North Dakota was very, very crucial.
I do want to...
But where they're from, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Where they're from is irrelevant. Because everything that they're regurgitating, they got from American media.
What? How dare we use American news outlets to inform ourselves about American news? Sorry, I missed it. What? Oh, no, I'll play it again.
But I do want to...
But where they're from, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Where they're from is irrelevant. Because everything that they're regurgitating, they got from American media. With the
Don't use meth, kids. That is what this feels like. It's a little bit what this feels like. Thank you. I like my sweater too. Yeah, I don't know. The goal stayed at 3, so I don't know what to tell you. We'll call it one more, and I'll do it, and then start a new goal or something. I don't know. We only use American news if we want the wrong facts. So, okay, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Should people outside of America not observe American media to understand what's going on in America? Second off, why would that be the only source of information? You know I can speak to Americans, right? You know I can look at polls and look them up myself, because polling is not inherently American media, right? American media is like MSNBC, Fox News, those types of things. You know, there are YouTube channels that are made by people in America about what's going on, right? That's not American media. Those are people in America putting out information and calls for help. You know that, like, for example, the sources I showed you earlier were from world data places, not the American media. Also incorrect, I don't watch American trash news. Yeah, I don't think most of us are getting our information, at least not here, from American talking heads. I doubt that's where most of the people, at least in my chat, are getting their information from. It's not where I get my information from. What I look at is the literal things that Donald Trump says and posted. The direct sources. Direct sources like what Elon Musk literally says, and what he literally does, and how that literally affects my country. No TV or radio in my Toronto igloo. We also have our own news sources. Like, there's Canadian news, there's BC news, there's news outlets from around the world that you, good viewer, can have access to by just looking it up. You know, you can see a lot of the press briefings that come out of the White House directly, right? You don't need the American media to spoon feed it to you. You know, see, the Canadian Parliament has a YouTube channel, and most major councils have YouTube channels in Canada. You can actually just watch them directly. You don't need a news outlet to spoon feed it to you if you actually want to watch those things. The level of ignorance is truly, truly baffling.
The internet word is now, it don't matter if you're sitting in New Zealand or in Alabama. You can still get the same information. The only difference is that if you're in New Zealand, then you can create a bubble. If you're in Alabama, sometimes you got to go to Walmart and you're going to see other people. But if you're in another country, you can consume what you want about America, just what you want. You don't have to be faced with another opinion. So it's easy.
You hear that echo? Trying to get my new U.S. news from Philip DeFranco and Internet Today, covering why things are bad and bullshit. I use a plethora. I read stuff. I talk to people. I touch grass. You can look at the stock market numbers on your own. You can look at the trends like I did just today. This motherfucker gets out of his bubble by going to the Alabama Walmart. Yes, he thinks that going to Walmart is outside of his bubble, which is actually sad, quite frankly. That's actually very depressing if you think outside of your bubble is your local Walmart. No wonder how many countries this nut can. I wonder how many countries this nut can name. If you think that visiting your local Walmart, do you have in-depth conversations about world politics at Walmart? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a lot of local people won't talk to you about how they feel about current politics. Specifically because they don't feel safe. Who bothers shoppers at Walmart to talk politics? Bruh, I'm trying to buy Old English and Vaseline. Fuck off. No, this isn't a Walmart. This is a Wendy's.
Easier to be in a bubble when you don't live here. So what I found is that it's...
Are you suggesting that it's not easy to be in a bubble in America with how large it is? Brother, when was the last time you even traveled to another state?
The foreigners are even harder to convince than the guy down the street. Because most of them already made up their mind before they even started learning about the United States.
But I thought you said that everybody had to know about America. You're projecting. You've made up your mind and haven't researched a damn thing. And you've said so out loud, both of you. And on top of that, you now also have this other issue that you don't have any fucking clue how the internet works. This is a you problem. This is a self-awareness issue. You do realize that the Canadians' view of America has dropped significantly, right? Hold on, let me see if I can find the statistic. Let me see if I can. Ooh, that's a big drop. Da, 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 da. Elmo's World. Canada is the country Americans view the most favorably. A study by the Angus Reid Institute has found that Canada is the country Americans view most favorably. The study found that 76% of Americans have a favorable opinion of Canada, followed by the United Kingdom at 71%. Among the countries surveyed, those least favored by Americans are Russia at 10% and China at 16%. This was posted on January 25th, 2025. While Americans continue to hold Canada in high regards, Canadians' perception of the United States, 40%, are among the lowest in history. Quote, Canadian negativity toward the United States is a somewhat new phenomenon dating back to the turn of the century. Canadians have been more likely to say they had a favorable view of the United States than an unfavorable one. The net positivity from Canadians even held through the height of the Iraq War. Canadian views of the United States were altered after the election of Trump to his first term. Negativity towards the U.S. grew among Canadians while positivity plummeted to new lows. Throughout much of Trump's first term, majority of Canadians held negative views of the United States. Views recovered under Trump's successor, President Joe Biden, but have plummeted after the November presidential election. Do you fucking see this chart? Are you fucking kidding me? 40%? That was in January. It's March. What do you think it looks like now? Want me to see if I can find a more recent one? Look at this. Are you fucking crazy? Anger and anxiety. Anger, betrayal, and anxiety. Canadians say they are ready to fight back after tariffs drive views of U.S. to a new low. As U.S. President Donald Trump addresses Congress for the first time in his second, this is as of March 4th, for the first time in his second presidential term tonight, he'll likely find a sizable audience north of the border. It won't be a favorable one. New data from the non-profit Angus Reid Institute finds Canadians feel angry 55%, betrayed 37%, and anxious 29% ahead of the expected implementation of tariffs on Canadian goods entering the United States. Overall, look at this. That doesn't mean Canadians are feeling defeated. The proportion of those who support retaliatory measures in response to Trump's tariffs has grown since January. There has been a 6 to 8 point increase in support for three policy responses, including a blank 25% tariff on U.S. goods, 66% support, targeted tariffs on key U.S. imports, 70%, and a ban on critical Canadian exports to the U.S., 65%. These ongoing tensions have pushed Canadian views of Trump and his country to historic lows. Three-quarters view the United States unfavorably at 73%. 3 times the number who say the opposite, 24%. Further, just 17% hold a favorable view of the president compared to 4 and 5, 79 who view him unfavorably. Are you fucking kidding? Look at this drop. You're telling me that Canadians made up their minds about not liking America before they knew anything about America? Are you fucking high? You think that there's been nothing that's happened in the last 50 years since World War II, since you brought it up, that would change people's outlooks to America? Are you stupid? What's your education level? I'm curious. I'm curious to know if you graduated high school, you dumbass. Unbelievable. I saw a recent poll regarding liberals versus progressive conservatives. Was a bit surprising to see Carney up over Pierre on even on issues of cost of living. Yup. Wow, go figure. If you would like to look this up for yourself and see it for yourself, there you fucking go. You're an idiot. You're a fool. Get your head out of your ass. Grow up.
and harder to convince the guy down the street. Because most of them already made up their mind before they even started learning about the United States.
Yeah, that's why you can see such a fucking drop in numbers, because they definitely had their mind made up at 72% in October to last year, all the way to March. Oh, sorry, this was 2002. 2002, 2003, 2005, 2007, 2013, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2025, 2025. Yeah. 72, 68, 59, 58, 24. This is a massive drop. And that's since February of 2023. And even this, the election happened in November. That's where that drop-off is. And now with Trump actually in office, it's dropped. What do you mean? What do you mean that Canadians made up their mind before knowing? Was everybody in Canada born on November of 2024? Are you stupid? Good God.
They either love us or hate us. There's not too many.
That is definitively not true. What? Sorry, what?
I let the person trigger me by her, the talk about Americans fucking themselves, and you lied and you went back on your word.
Foreigners always.
Yeah, you did. America swore to protect Ukraine. In their agreement, you lied. You have not followed through with that and tried to pull out. And it was so embarrassing that support for Ukraine started back up again. But that is still against your word. You threw them the fuck under the bus and everybody fucking knows it. You lied. You lied about Iraq and fucking Afghanistan too. Do you want more lies that America has told? I can give you a bigger list if you would like. They either love us or hate us. Reality, most of them hate you. Now, most of them hate you. Before, it was generally positive. Specifically to protect them from Russia, yes.
Yeah,
I got triggered.
That's how you talk to the bully. It's like, that's how they
It's not bullying when you ask me what I think about becoming a 51st state and threatening the sovereignty of my country and saying that we should be annexed and your president declaring war on me to tell you to fuck off. That's not bullying, you fucking snowflake. Get over yourself.
Trump. They're like, oh, your dad gave you all his money. You didn't do it. None of it's true. But that's when someone's the top dog.
I'm sorry, are you talking about Elon Musk's emerald mine all of a sudden? Does Marcy have some kind of issue with nepotism that I'm not aware of?
You can attack him on all kinds of stuff. Oh, yeah, you went to the best schools. Yeah, you got a deferment.
Yeah.
Well,
They have a very clear distaste and hatred of education. And that's sad and pathetic.
That's what they're doing to you because you're the top dog.
Yes, Marcy is the top dog in this scenario, yes. Sauce, Earl Grey, hot. Shall we unleash the spice? I'm gonna end the goal. I don't know why it got stuck. Oh, the timer ended. That's why. That's why. The timer ended. It was outside of the time frame because we've been live a lot longer than I thought we would, and because I've done a lot more of demonstrating the information than I thought I would. But we will count it regardless because I'm a good sport. So we've got 5, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Ooh. This has a skull on it. Habanero garlic. Let me flip over real quick. Whoop. Habanero garlic. Woohoo! However, I do have posts showing you declared war and supported war on us. What are you talking about, blonde one? Are you talking about the time you threatened me? Is that what you're talking about? I've got a master's and Marcy is the top dog. Oh yeah, you can tell that she's the top dog. By how embarrassing this is. You know, if you say a lie enough times, it becomes the truth. You start believing it. By the way, an individual can't declare war on a country. There's a big difference between me and the President of the United States. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. If you think those things are equivalent, you're a fucking moron. Oh, it's smoky. It kind of tastes a little bit like tobacco. Kind of tastes a little bit like Uh-oh. Oh, they think education is indoctrination of misinformation. Ugh. Marcy, grow up. And blonde one, also, grow up. We're not, Canada's not interested, and we will defend ourselves. Sorry if you don't like it. How unfortunate for you. And the rest of the world doesn't like it either.
It's how much they bought the whole line. You don't get a master's degree in whatever unless you're a Marxist.
You don't get a master's degree. There it is again. You don't get a master's degree unless you're a Marxist. You don't know what a Marxist is. Why am I hearing audio from somewhere else? Oh. Sorry, it started again. Let me put this back. It started again playing in my other thing because I moved some stuff around. Let me fix that real quick. Off we go.
That's all. That's the stereotype that foreigners have when they have a preconceived notion and they're looking in on America.
Prove us wrong then. Show us that you know a damn thing. Show us that you have any kind of fucking... Is he jealous of your master's degree? Yes. Prove us wrong, motherfucker. Canada is very justified in their anger towards America, but if you want to try and prove that Canadians already had a preconceived notion and a distaste of Americans, prove it. There's your data points. You don't know how. You despise education and information and facts. Cry harder that somebody has an education you don't and were unable to get. Whether it's because your country prevented you from doing it, or because your stupidity did. Your incapability, your incompetence.
It's disappointing as on a human level, on a basic human level, that the person...
It's disappointing that the people you're attacking don't like you? Are you fucking serious? Are you for real right now? You think that it's sad? It's disappointing that the Canadians don't like us, even though we're trying to say that they never liked us to begin with. Can you pick a lane? You're fucking circle jerking into like just complete like hyperbolic fucking hypocrisy. Like, what are you talking about? How many wars did America start that Canada joined to support America? Give me a number. How many Canadian lives have been lost to American wars? How many Canadian lives have been lost to Americans shooting Canadians by fucking accident during a war. I have never comprehended the pride some people have in being ignorant. Honestly, I just think people are too nice about people who are willingly proud of being ignorant. You shouldn't be proud of yourself. You should be fucking embarrassed. And you should be fucking ashamed. And nobody should fucking listen to a goddamn word you have to say. About anything, quite frankly. You clearly have no idea what you're talking about. It's barely over 50% of economists are right-leaning. Every other profession that requires a degree besides a generic business degree are overwhelmingly left-leaning. Yeah, of course. The president said he was willing to annex Canada with economic coercion. That is a declaration of war. Making claims on a sovereign country is an act of war. There is nothing to prove. Exactly. So if you think that you can prove that fucking America didn't declare war and isn't declaring war on Canada right now, good fucking luck. Sorry, okay, we'll put it this way. He's not declaring war, he is making declarations of war. And he is doing acts of war, if we want to be technical about it. Thank you for the clarification. We'll be specific.
Would want that the person that there are people out there that want to see this person dead.
You want to annex our country. What are you talking about? What conversation did you have? I showed you guys my entire conversation. Did I in any of those posts say anything about wanting anyone dead? I don't think I said that. Americans are wanting people dead right now. What do you think happens when you annex a country? You kill people. You're declaring in this video how much you hate Canadians, and now you're disappointed that the Canadians don't just roll over and die on your behalf. Trump and Musk are killing people, period. By pulling support from Ukraine, even for a short number of time, lives are lost. By pulling USAID out from under money that's already been spent, which is illegal, by the way, is getting people killed. Pulling Medicaid out from under people's feet so they can't get necessary medical emergency or treatments that they're in the process of getting, or things that they were intending on starting that don't. That's all. That's gonna get people are dying. People are dying. The number of people that died during Trump's first term, the number of people that died for COVID during COVID, that's all. That blood's on his hands. Do you think Canadians are fucking stupid? Because the Canadians think you are.
I wanted to see it. I wanted to see Mao dead.
Right. I understand.
Because that's
because he's the bad guy.
You can't forget he's Hitler. These people.
Who's Hitler? I'm sorry. Who's Hitler? You can't forget he's Hitler. Sorry. What?
Person that there are people out there that want to see this person dead.
Well, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see Mao dead.
Right. I understand.
Because that's
because he's the bad guy.
You can't forget he's Hitler.
Are they calling Trump Hitler and the Canadians want Trump dead? Is that what they're saying? Because that wasn't in the conversation that I had, and by conversation, me telling fucking Marcy to fuck off, and that I'm not interested in Elon Musk being in my country, and I don't want to be a 51st state, is somehow, or are they talking about Elon Musk, the guy that actually did the Hitler salute? Who are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you even referring to? Meth is bad. Okay. Okay.
These people are convinced that they're on the. Everyone wants to think that they live in the cusp in historical times. That's why they think everything. This is our Pearl Harbor. This is our Civil War. This is our. That's what they're doing. They're
Go watch Canadian media. Go watch Canadian media and you see what the Canadians are actually saying before you make declarations about what the Canadians are doing. We wouldn't describe what is happening right now as a civil war. That would be very, very stupid because we're not fighting with ourselves, you dumb motherfucker. Pearl Harbor was a bombing that took place? That hasn't happened here? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're insane. You are delusional.
Overhyping the situation, you know?
Where? Where? What are you talking about? What overhype? Your president literally said out loud multiple times that he wants to annex our country. He wants all of Canada to be a 51st state, that our borders aren't real, that and that he wants to use economic pressure to coerce us. That is war. This is disregarding this war rhetoric that you are also repeating about Marxism to try to pretend there's a political ideological difference between Canada and America that doesn't exist. No, don't get me wrong, there are political differences and ideological differences between Canada and America, just not these ones. You're just making shit up to justify and try to claim to be the victim because Canada doesn't want to be America. Fucking, huh? Overhyping the situation by what? Boycotting American goods? Hey, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we don't need justification to do that. We don't have to. Our justification is, we like our country. We don't need additional justification to want to buy shit from our own country. You actually think that it's overhyped and like some kind of act of war to not buy American goods? Are you kidding me? What kind of fucking joke is this? Why are you so mad? We only threatened your sovereignty and to annex your state, Marcy and this moron, March 2025. Good God. This is so fucking embarrassing. If no Canada, then no maple syrup. I will fight to defend maple syrup. Trump is really more like Nero if you think about it. He's crushing the economy and blaming it on a marginalized group, as well as performing acts of cruelty for sport. Yeah. That education is the devil. Foosball's the devil. This is ridiculous.
Trump's just another administration.
Guys, Trump is just another administration with his 36 felonies and his complete fucking attempt to isolate America and piss off every fucking ally America has, including breaching treaties, illegally breaking agreements, and illegally fucking breaking their own constitution. The breach of the Constitution by this administration is unheard of by any other administration. At least Reagan had the decency to fucking step down. How many times was Trump impeached? Because it wasn't enough. Trump is just another administration that's talking about having a third administration. Trump is just another administration that's murdering its own people. Trump is just another administration that's just a dictator. Trump is just another administration that is declaring war on all of its fucking allies. Trump is just another administration that's fucking the American people. Bonnier for 5 said, so if not buying American goods is what, oppression or whatever, then what has Trump done to raising the tariffs on Canada? Manya, stop thinking about things. Hey, Marcy and husband, how would you feel if Russia, China, North Korea, or Iraq would annex the United States to their country? Would you be angry? Well, I mean, Russia's already got eyes on Alaska, and guess who's gonna defend Alaska? Who do you think the United States would look to get assistance in trying to defend Alaska from Russia, who do you think that would be? I'll let you think about it. Isn't the whole Buy America movement in the United States that has existed for decades? Yep. He's the most fascist. Nobody's ever been fascist like him. People look at him and say, wow, what a fascist that guy is. There's never been like this before. Your fucking administration is a clown show. And it is a clown show that is dismantling your constitution and your checks and balances and your entire fucking country and screwing your own people over. You can be mad at me all you want about hearing the bad news from me. You know, shoot the messenger all you want. The facts are the facts. Shit don't change. It just do be that way. Nazi and Hitler was only an administration. Yeah, keep in mind, yeah, the Nazi party was voted in. By the way. If you don't like us and don't want us and think we're useless and don't, if America doesn't want anything to do with America, then leave. Why, if you don't want us and we're useless and we're Marxist and we're stupid and you don't need any of our goods or anything, why are you so desperate to want us as a state? Why are you so desperate to have our approval? Because that's what you're doing. You're crying and you're disappointed that you're not getting a Canadians' approval. Do you think Trump cares about Alaska and is going to defend Alaska from Russia? Or do you think Russia will just take Alaska and Trump wouldn't do anything about it? He'd be like, nah, we don't really care. What does Alaska do for us anyway? And again, if America needs to defend Alaska, where do you think they're going to get the help? Because they're going to have to be moving through Canadian waters. They're gonna have to move through Canadian space. Airspace. Stuff on the ground has to go through Canada to get to fucking Alaska. Oh no, I'm not saying that Trump would be right, that what does Alaska do for America? Alaska does a lot. But what is Trump gonna think, or say? Or have an excuse to just hand stuff over to Putin? Joke's on you if you think he wouldn't. Pour one out for Tesla stock down another 5% today. Aww. Aww.
But if they can build him into a villain... Now,
nobody is trying to build Trump into a villain. Trump is telling all these countries he hates them. You're an idiot. Monty for 5 says, and there are people out there who care about the feelings of Nazis and not their fascism. Well, yeah, obviously. Well, these are Nazis, right? We understand that these are Nazis talking, right? Like, that's what they are. They're fascist authoritarian Nazis. They're defending and supporting Nazis. These are Nazis talking, right? We understand this? Alaska voted for Trump. Oh, I know. Of course they did. These are Nazis, right? Hey, generic.
it gives their life purpose.
What? So suddenly now defending your country, this person who claims to be part of the military, the American military, apparently thinks that defending your own country is not something where it is like a paper thin, oh well, it gives their life purpose. Defending your country gives your life purpose, and you're suggesting that's a bad thing. That's a negative thing? Are you Yes, you're stupid. There's no other word for this. You're stupid. You're just dumb. You're just fucking dumb. I don't think you even know what you said. Somebody who just touted their military association, whatever their job in the military may or may not be, I don't know. And whatever thing things in the military that they may or may not participate in. I don't know. I don't even know if that's true. That's just something they've said. They're saying that another country being willing to defend itself from annexation is, oh, well, they're just giving it gives their life purpose, as if, like, to chide it, to dismiss it. You should be ashamed of yourself. And the American military should be ashamed of you too. Because from my understanding, that is not what the American military has ever stood for. Disgraceful.
You know, Trump's just another administration. But if they can build him into a villain, now it gives their life purpose. So they're convinced that he's Hitler, and that's, like I said before, now that justifies them to do whatever they feel fit, because after all, he's Hitler.
We don't need to call Trump Hitler. We can criticize what the American government is doing and compare it to what Hitler did in the 1930s, you know, like the Nazi salute. But you can remove all of that. The tariffs alone are retaliatory. We don't need to paint Trump a villain when he's actively attacking our country. The fact that you think otherwise is delusional.
Who wouldn't have assassinated Hitler if they could? Yeah. Who wouldn't have saved him?
What do you mean, if they could? There was a lot of people that could have attempted to assassinate Hitler and didn't. Again, he was voted into office. Stop pretending you know anything about history or the ideology or the thought process of the German people at the time. You don't even understand your own fucking nature of America or the way the world views America at all. Don't pretend now that you think you know anything about another country or their politics.
Millions of them. That's Trump. That's what they're trying to save you, and you're just too dumb to know it.
We are not! Canada is not trying to save the American people from Trump. The American people are asking Canadians to save them from Trump, and Canada's saying, we can't do that. You have to do that for yourself. We can defend ourselves from someone we didn't elect, you dumb motherfucker. Canadians aren't Americans. Stop talking about us like we're fucking Americans. Stop it. We are not. We have no control over what your presidency does and what your people vote for. What we do control is how we respond to what your administration does. After all, it's just an administration, right? So that's what we're doing. So what's the problem? You want to have your cake and eat it too? The cake that you shit out your ass? Nobody wants your ass cake, all right? You're sticking your dick in the pudding, and now you're crying that nobody wants to eat your pudding. Yeah, nobody wants your fucking dick pudding, motherfucker. Vatican loves Hitler. Trump supporters love Christianity. So, point of history, there was at least 3 attempts to remove Adolf Hitler. Go figure. Go figure. If you don't like that people who study history have noticed a trend in America, take it up with history and maybe study something and learn it and show that it's wrong. How about that, instead of just decrying, they're name-calling us, which isn't a thing that's happening. I mean, I'm calling you stupid, but that's a different thing. And yes, I think the Canadian people are fucking stupid. And this is an example as to why. I don't think all Americans are like this. I have slowly been being convinced by the behaviors of both the American government currently, as well as the Democratic Party, as well as what the information that has been coming out of America and the analysis that has been coming out from various sources, that too many Americans are like this. My opinion is slowly shifting that I'm starting to think less and less of the majority of the American people. If you don't want that, it's not a matter of already having an assumption and just going with it. It's a matter of the behaviors of the American people. And when you behave like a fascist Nazi dick sucker, Canadians aren't going to be interested in that because we don't like authoritarianism, we don't like fascism, and that's historical, like that's not new. And yeah, we're not interested in you wanting to annex our fucking country. No. If it's not happening, why are you so offended and disappointed in Canadians saying no thanks, nah, pass, fuck off? You fucking children, you fucking snowflakes. The irony of these snowflakes not being able to, they wouldn't be able to handle 30 seconds of a Canadian winter, and a light one at that.
Right.
They're trying to say, yeah. But behind it all, they really hate you for electing him.
Right.
And not listening to their wisdom.
Right. So much for trying to
And then it cuts off. So much for trying to what? Marcy didn't try to have a conversation with me. I showed you what that looked like on Monday. I urged you to go and see exactly what Marcy said. That was never a conversation. I wasn't trying to convince Marcy one way or another about Donald Trump or Elon Musk. I was simply answering her question of, I'm not fucking interested and Canada's not fucking interested. Surprise, surprise, the people who support a fascist, adjudicated rapist don't understand when no means no and don't respect people's boundaries. Or countries' boundaries, for that matter. Go figure. Go fucking figure. Claims that more and more Americans agree with this bullshit is the equivalent of flat earthers feigning support from random counts of people is just self-stroking. Sly, thank you. I agree with you 100%. I don't think more and more Americans agree with this. But I do think that way more people than I thought were in America are like this. I thought this was a minority. I no longer believe that that this is a minority. And I think that the only reason people are a lot of reason why people are changing their minds isn't because they actually changed their minds on the policies. It's they still want all this stuff to happen. They just don't want it to happen to them. And I've literally heard that. Literal and figurative boundaries, yeah. Why did she upload this? I have no idea. This was to be her response. And guess what? Guess what? There's a part 2. And then there's a video of, I guess, her in the bathtub. What is this? This is from a year ago. Yeah, she just likes to film from her bathtub. I don't fucking know. In the description, it said there was going to be a part 3. So I guess we're just waiting on part 3. But we'll watch part 2 tomorrow. Because holy shit. Holy shit. Well, Sly, I'm happy to be convinced otherwise. But, alas, thank you for joining me. This has been fun. Greatly appreciated. It was good to have you guys here. I'll be back tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad place. And we'll go through part 2. Because, like, there's just a lot of vitriol and ignorance and just hateful rhetoric that these people are spewing and then are trying to claim victim that somebody told them no. But isn't that always what a bully does? A bully tries to throw their weight around, and as soon as somebody stands up to them, they cry. Yeah. That's exactly what happens. But yeah, that was part 1. I'll be back tomorrow with part 2. Thank you so much for joining me. I linked the resources in the side before. I probably won't link them in the description because I don't fucking care. But if you wanted to check out Marcy's channel, I mean, I'm more than happy to provide you with the source of what was being said, but I'm not gonna say go comment or don't do anything like that. This is clearly delusional ramblings. So feel free to check out her stuff for yourself, but I would tentatively say probably don't engage, because what's there to even engage with? But alas, thank you so much. I will see you guys next time. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll check out part 2. And I still do gotta talk about Renelle and this other crazy lady in the comment section. So we'll again, lower on the priority list, but we'll get to it. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, and there was this Aaron thing. Whatever. They're not important. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.